Introduce the beautiful Amy Latta. She is our board president, as well as whatever she's doing in her very busy life these days. But Amy helps unruly women leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners build legacies without burning out by asking for what actually matters and getting it. She's a master certified feminist coach of 13 years and previously a corporate marketer who learned the hard way that playing by the rules, keeping brilliant women small. Amy is a lifelong rule follower turned unapologetic asker, a Gen Xer with ADHD who spent decades masking before the curtain fell. She's built a six-figure coaching business, hosted 300 plus podcast episodes, and spoken to audiences across the country, not by fitting in, but by trusting her own unruly wiring. The women Amy helps are high achievers, but they know what they've achieved is only a fraction of who they truly are, and they're paralyzed by their own potential. Her approach is grounded and deceptively simple. Name what you want, believe what's in the way, and ask anyway. She's helped hundreds of women stop spiraling, start speaking up, and build the life they actually want, and stop apologizing for wanting it. In this talk, Amy will walk you through the the ask that changes everything. Why the thing you're not asking for is probably what you need most, and how to get unstuck long enough to say it out loud. Expect movie quotes, big laughs, and hard truths. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you, beautiful. Appreciate you. Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing this morning? Fantastic. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I have a new puppy at home, and he's finally not freaking out every time we come and go. All right. I should have slides ready to go. All right. So welcome to the Ask That Changes Everything. And if you don't mind, I am going to need my notes today because this is the first time I'm presenting this specific talk. So you're welcome, guinea pigs. All right. So I am Amy Latta, and I've been coaching confidence. Sorry, I've been coaching confidence, business, health, and leadership since January of 2013. And I have suffered complete and total burnout before. And so this is how I came here onto the other side. All right, next slide. I had to realize this truth right here. Everything that you want is on the other side of asking for what you need. And I think that's the part there. Burnout is what happens when you don't ask for what you need. And we're going to get to all the myriad of reasons that we don't ask for what you need, but that ultimately is what leads to burnout. All right, next slide. Because here's the fun truth that I've only in the past 6 months realized. Burnout actually isn't just overworking. It's not just working too much. It is self-abandonment in every area of your life. It's not asking for what you need. You're struggling. We're going to get to my burnout story in just a moment. You're struggling and you have an idea, oh, if only I get so and so to take this off my plate. If only I could get so and so to do this. So we're actually not that bad at identifying what we need. We literally say it all the time. Oh my goodness, if only I could have somebody help me with this. Those are our needs. We know what to ask for. But why don't we ask for it? We start second guessing. Well, maybe I don't really need that. Maybe I'm being too much. And then we start overthinking. I don't know if you've ever gone down downward spirals into overthinking the ins and outs of asking for, your husband to do the dishes that night. I mean, it's silly sometimes. But the second guessing and the overthinking leads us to waiting for the perfect moment to ask. And in the meantime, we're either frozen in place waiting for this perfect moment, or we start over-serving and start over helping others waiting for the perfect moment, which of course keeps us where we are. And it's not even so much that the burnout cycle is like this, it's like this. It's a spiral. So the more, and then we just keep repeating this over and over again ad nauseum, hopefully Not until the last day. I will turn 52 tomorrow, and I can tell you that I've figured this out in the past year. So it took me 52 years to figure this out. So next slide, please. Yeah, and so let's go back 4 years ago. This is actually me 4 years ago, giving a live, I'm hosting a 2 day live workshop, 40 something successful businesswoman. The picture of outside success, but it was completely burning out on the inside. I had a six-figure business. I had a room full of clients. I was speaking on stages. I also had accumulating expenses, stagnating sales, and notice the 40 something. I'm getting ready to turn 40 or 52 tomorrow. I was about 48, and I don't know if other women in the room knows what's going on with your body when you're hitting around that age. Health issues galore. Um, I would be diagnosed with ADHD 1 year later. That's not a something that happens. You have it your whole life. It took 49 years for me to realize it. ADHD, health issues, family, life, kids. I've got kids in high school. Um, so all of these things, which led to this level of carrying the burden of all of those pieces. And looking back, I can now see all the myriad of asks I could have made up. I could have renegotiated contracts with people to try to keep my expenses low. I could have not kept re-signing with the same coach when the return on investment was getting smaller and smaller. I could have asked so much more of my husband, of my children, of my friends in my community. Go ahead and next slide. So I want you, for just a moment, grab a piece of paper, one of those pieces of paper, and I want you to think about one thing that you want right now. What's one thing? What's one of those, oh, if only I had blank? And can you identify one real life person in your life that you could ask that of? Real simple one could be just what it takes to run your life, asking your partner or your spouse or somebody you live with for something. It might be something in your business. Something that I have right now is there is a corporate version of my one-on-one coaching, and I've been looking at Kim Hunter from my very first job is still in HR, and I want to ask her how I can get into corporate training. Have I asked? No. We're going to get to why, but that's something specific I could think of right now is to send her a LinkedIn message, right? What's stopping you? The thing that you have written down, the person that you know would be a good first ask. What's stopping you from asking? And I want you to take a moment for that. Go ahead and the next slide, please. Why don't we ask? Oh, that's fun formatting. I'll figure it out. So many different reasons. I can do this myself. That's my favorite. You know what? I can do this myself. I can do all of the research and figure it out all on my own, and I can totally figure out how to get into corporate training without speaking to one other human being. I will figure it out on my own. Thank you very much. I can figure this out. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. I don't want to make a fuss. So maybe I'll like ask somebody who knows nothing about corporate training and just kind of like drop it over to them. I don't want to. I don't want to rock any boats. I don't want to make a fuss. Or I might convince myself I don't actually need that thing. You know what? I don't need to get into corporate training. I don't need to do that. I'm good. I don't need to. So I push down my needs or I forget about it. One of the biggest ones that I find among brilliant women who've achieved so much but are in some phase of burnout is thinking, I don't have the right to ask for this. I've never done corporate training before. Who am I to go ask this woman who hired me in 1998 and she's still in the business doing that work? Who am I to ask her how to do something I've never done before? I haven't earned the right to ask. Or it might just be this I know is 100% a big one, and particularly for those of us who do have ADHD, they might say no. She might tell me no. She might say, we don't do that. We don't need that. We already have our people. And no's often feel like rejection. Not rejection of asking of the thing, but the rejection of self. And there is a reason for that, particularly if you have ADHD or are neurodivergent in any way. Next slide, please. So this is one of my favorite coaching tools. And if you forget anything else that I say today, this sentence right here can change your life. Because all of those reasons that we don't ask for what we need is based on some belief that we have. I kind of gave some of some examples of that. And here's the thing, we think we have to wait until we are at 100% belief before we will do something. I have to be absolutely guaranteed that she is going to say yes before I ask. The problem is this is mythical until you've actually done it. Your brain actually has a very hard time believing 100% that you can do something that you've never done before. It doesn't have the proof. That's not how we're wired. So actually, most of us are like, I do deserve it. No, I don't deserve it. I have earned the right. No, I haven't earned the right. It's kind of like a gas tank, right? It's a little belief meter. One of my favorite things is to go, oh, it's possible it's not true that I haven't earned the right. Just by introducing possibility to your brain, it's possible. It's possible what I hear in my mind is not true. I'm not filling the gas tank up to 100, but all the goal here is just to bump that belief up just a little bit than where you just were. We want to give you just a little bit more oomph and a little bit more belief that you have the right to ask for that you know who to ask, that you know what you're asking for. This right here, because the goal is to move your belief up just a smidge. By the way, this is everything. It's possible my husband doesn't hate me because he loaded the dishwasher really messed up last night. It's possible my dog is not out to get me because he puked on the carpet. It's possible. Like I use this every day. It's possible the story in my mind that I hear, it's possible it's not true. And then with that possibility, I feel the anxiety drop out of my shoulders. I feel the weight lift just a little bit. Go ahead and advance. But the real secret to asking, so you identify what you need, you introduce the possibility that you have the total right to ask for that or whatever story you've identified. But the real secret to asking is the goal is not to get a yes. Now I know, like, why am I standing here talking to you for any reason on asking if I'm telling you, go get the no? That is actually the building of the muscle of asking. And I lost where I was in my notes. Give me just a second. Um, the goal is not to get a yes. The goal is to get a no and to get as many no's as possible. Anybody who's ever taken a sales training has heard this before, right? Don't go for the yes, go for the no. And here's the reason why, though, is because if I have to guarantee the other person's going to say yes, how how many asks am I going to make versus you know what, they're probably going to say no, they might say no, I'm going to ask anyway. If you have Amy number 1 who's waiting for the perfect moment versus Amy who's okay with hearing no, if I ask 10 times and I only get one yes, I'm still ahead than the person who's still waiting for the perfect moment. It also teaches your brain that you can survive hearing no. It teaches your brain that you don't die when somebody says, no, thank you, I don't want that. This is the building the muscle of asking. Now, a couple notes about what we make no mean. Number 1, realize that every time somebody is saying yes to you, there's a no somewhere. They're not hiring another coach that's asking. Every time you say yes to somebody, you are saying no to something else. The cost may not be that big a deal. So just realize that there's a transaction that person is making by saying yes to you. So their no probably has little to do with you and more of what they are opting to do instead. And the other part of this is the ADHD piece. Those of us with ADHD have another fun little side thing called rejection sensitivity dysphoria. It's a very fancy word for saying no feels like death. No, no one likes to hear no. If you have RSD, you're like, oh my God, they hate me so much. And oh my God, like it can be debilitating, and it has been debilitating many, many times in my life. And so rejection sensitivity is just, oh, it's possible I'm not actually going to die. I've already given you one of the tools for overcoming. If this is something that you've experienced, I've already given you one of the tools for overcoming rejection, which is it's possible, not true, this person hates me. It's possible it's not true. And that you want to add a somatic element too. This is something I spend a lot of time with clients in. So now just put your hand over your heart, another hand over your gut, and repeat, it's possible. It's possible that this story is not true. And then you take a deep breath into that. It's possible this story isn't true. I am safe even though I feel unsafe in this moment. That's another really, I repeat that to myself, repeat all the time. I am safe even though in this moment I feel unsafe. Those are two somatic statements that you can say. There's so many more small, everyday somatic tools you can use, but hand over heart, hand over gut, while reminding your brain that it's possible. That will get you through so many more asks and get you even closer to what you really need in your life. Next slide, please. The good news is you do not have to go this alone. So I have, even after you do the somatics, even after you repeat yourself that it's possible it's not true, sometimes you might still be frozen. And you're like, well, okay, I've already done the work. Now what do I do? I developed 5 really simple things that I do to help me actually start when I'm stopped. So you can do the coaching, you can do the mindset work. You can remind your nervous system that you're not going to die and that you're safe. Sometimes that's still not enough. And I had to figure out what gets me off the couch and actually asking, what's actually going to help me open that laptop and type the email? What's actually going to help me put just a little bit, we moved the belief meter up a little bit. My nervous system isn't freaking out. Here's 5 things. And so if you want to take out your phone and scan this QR code, it will take you to a Google form. On the Google form, when you fill it out, it'll be on the thank you page. It'll be on the link. You should be able to pull it up right now. And then last October, I developed this idea of asking for what you need. And I did a 30-day asking challenge of myself. I've now just put that into a 30-day coaching journal. It was supposed to be ready by today, and it wasn't. So I gave myself a wait list. So check the box on there if you want to be on the wait list for my 30-day asking. I tell you exactly what to do for 30 straight days. I give you an ask to go make for 30 straight days. So you can practice. It's possible I'm not dying. Let me use Amy's 5 little baby steps to unfreeze myself, and let me go make this ask today. So on the Google form, when you fill that out, if you check the little box, I'll make sure as soon as it's ready that you'll go ahead and get that. All right, last slide. So my question for you then is, the QR code is on here too if you haven't yet scanned it, is what will you ask for when you're willing to experience the discomfort of no? Everything you want is on the other side of asking for what you need. And when you can experience no, the world is literally your oyster. All right, that's what I have.
Does anyone have any questions for Amy? Hmm? Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
here you go. Sorry. That way everybody
It
can get.
sounds like you were out there making things happen, very successful. How were you managing everything, having undiagnosed ADD? And after you found out you had ADD, what did you change that helped you?
Okay, so that could be an entirely second talk that I could give right there. It turns out I wasn't managing very well. And for anybody who goes through late stage perimenopause, when that estrogen drops, your bottom drops out. There was I would say January of 2023, I couldn't get out of bed for almost an entire month. So bottom dropped out. I wasn't managing. That's how I got through high school. That's how I got through college. That's how I got through my 10-year corporate career. I just had enough estrogen to allow me to keep doing that. But when it dropped out, I couldn't. So now I'm having to relearn how to operate in my own life. I'm having to build rest into my days where I didn't used to do that. but I've also done the deep work of detaching my value and my worth from how much I produce. And then I keep reminding myself fairly regularly that it's possible I'm not actually going to die if I don't do everything by, 10 a.m. It sounds like you don't realize that it's in there, but then you're like, oh no, this actually does feel like death. And that's really weird because it's like your to-do list and it's doing laundry, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So finding out what works for you is actually the best thing. So I could give you a ton of tools, but it may not be what you need. And that's part of the leadership coaching for one-on-one and for corporate trainers, helping managers realize that what their team needs, what's going to motivate you is going to be different from you. And time blocking might work for you, but it might make somebody else shut down. So that's what the corporate side of this training looks like.
Anybody else? Oh, hold on.
Oh, I'll just
Oh, sorry. I have a lot of experience with trauma therapy that I've taken that I've done, and I help other people with the book The Body Keeps the Score.
Mhm.
And a lot of that rejection actually can come from trauma.
Mhm.
And I know it presents sometimes, like in your case, I don't know anything about anybody here, but in some people's cases it can be ADHD, but sometimes those ADHD symptoms are masking childhood trauma that we don't even remember.
Mhm.
So before we rush to diagnoses and things like that in ourselves, make sure we don't have any trauma in there, because sometimes you don't even realize it until you're in your, like me, in my 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
So that's something to go through EMDR and neurofeedback. There are therapies out there now that we don't even have to talk about bad things that happen to us, but so many women experience it. I just wanted to say it today with all the love in my heart that sometimes it's not you guys and you're not broken. It's
So one of the things I talk regularly about is that a therapist was by my side through this and through this entire experience. Unfortunately, this is a 3-hour talk I could give, and I'm putting into as little bit as I can. But that is helpful so that you can see, oh, this is a this is my wiring. Oh, this is not a private story. I was raised with an alcoholic in the home, so I learned to modulate every emotion I have from a very young age. So a therapist was by my side the entire time, in addition to coaching and medication and love. And if I could right now, I'm going to embarrass the hell out of her. But this woman right here has been on Marco Polo with me for 3 straight years. She has had a front row seat to every single thing that I've experienced. She's talked me off many ledges. And I just want to say thank you to Coach Shaquan.
Thank you, Miss Amy. Got all your stuff? The important stuff, the water?